Hi everyone, this month we are going to be doing yoga for athletes. So we are kicking things off this week with a sequence specifically designed for rock climbers. It's gonna help loosen up our shoulders, our wrists, and also help with increasing flexibility within our hip flexors and also building stability so you can stay on those teeny tiny little holds. All right, today we are gonna start in mountain pose. This is a deceivingly simple posture, but it really helps for you to center yourself, to find the midline, and to find some balance, which is all very important for climbers. So we are gonna come together with our big toes together, heels slightly apart, and to find some grounding within our feet, let's lift our toes up off the mat, spread them apart, really feel your arches lift, and then try to place each toe down individually, keeping them spread. From here, we're gonna firm up through the legs, firm up through the thighs, firm up through the hips. We're gonna stand tall, tuck your tailbone slightly. In this movement, it's just really bringing your tailbone in and almost kind of tucking your ribs in towards your belly button. So instead of kind of sticking your bum back, you're gonna tuck in. You should start to feel your core turn on already. We're gonna roll our shoulders down away from our ears, bring our hands beside our body, lift our chest, tuck our chin slightly, and take a few deep breaths to center ourselves before we start to move. Inhale deeply. Exhale, engaging Ujjayi breath. Inhale. Exhale. One more here. Inhale. Exhale. Trying to keep Ujjayi engaged through a lot of these poses. So if you've never worked with that before, you can check out the description box. There is a link to a full video with a great explanation on how to work with that breath. To start today, we are going to step our feet wide apart. Left foot comes facing towards the front of your mat. Right foot is back, coming onto the toes of our feet. We're going to engage through that back leg, so really firm it up. Tuck your tailbone in just like we did in mountain. So think about it here. You can even bring your hands onto your waist and tuck in, turning your core on, opening up through your hip flexor, helping to increase mobility through that hip flexor, which is really going to help you reaching onto those far holds. Knee is directly above your ankle. And we're going to inhale, lift our arms up. You can have wide shoulders here if you have any trouble there. Extend through your fingertips. Breathe deeply. We're going to bring our hands to our heart and then interlace our hands behind our back and stretch out, opening up through your shoulders, through your front body here. You can look back, do a little bit of a back bend. And then coming back to center, straighten that front leg. We're going to shift so both feet are facing forward. Hands are on your waist, toes are slightly pigeon-toed in. Inhale, shoulders down the back, look up. Exhale, start to fold forward. Bringing hands down onto the mat. This pose is going to help to gently open up the hamstrings, which is also going to help us when we're trying to reach those far holds. We need that flexibility so we can climb that wall. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, start to round forward here. Concentrating on keeping the hips high, thighs engaged. Breathing deeply, engaging Ujjayi. And then to come up, we're going to engage through those inner thighs again, almost like you're trying to squeeze a beach ball between your legs. And then inhale, one hand onto your waist, other hand onto your waist, and lift all the way up. We're going to turn directly to the other side to repeat our crescent lunge. So left foot faces forward. We're going to come onto the toes of our right foot. Bend through the left knee. Knee is directly over the ankle, tracking towards the baby's toe side. So you should be able to see your big toe. We're going to tuck that tailbone under, strengthen through that back leg. Inhale, arms up over your head, shoulders down away from your ears, reaching through your fingertips. Chest is proud, tailbone is tucked. Now, strengthening through this back leg is so important for climbers here. You are going to help reduce all of that shaky leg you might get when you're feeling tired or fatigued. Engage your Ujjayi. And then we're going to straighten that leg, twist back to center, and then heel toe our way all the way into the center. Now that we've built some strength through our legs, we're gonna move on to some balance poses. These are all super important for climbing. It's really gonna help you stay steady on those teeny tiny holds. So we're gonna start by strengthening through our left leg. You can lift your toes up off the ground again and then place them down, making sure that you're making as much contact as possible to the mat with your foot. Stand up tall. We're gonna lift our right foot first onto your ankle. If this feels good for you, you can lift it up onto your calf. And if you're still feeling steady, you just want to skip the knee and bring it all the way up to inner thigh. Push into your thigh with your foot. Resist with your thigh, really bringing them together. Knee is coming out to the side, also increasing some hip flexibility through there. Really concentrating on those hip flexors here. We want to give you as much mobility as possible when you're climbing. And when you're steady, your hips are square. You can bring hands to your heart. You have the option to bring them up over your head. Or you have the option to interlace them behind your back, stretch through the shoulders, keeping tailbone tucked. 2 more breaths here. Inhale, exhale. Engage that ujjayi. Inhale, exhale fully. Bring hands back to your heart. And we're gonna release down to the mat, trying to come down gently here, really concentrating on keeping that balance through the entire pose. Switching on to the other side, we're gonna engage through our right leg, lifting those toes up, placing them back down, keeping hips square. So if you're coming out to the side, you really wanna engage through your leg, square yourself off, and bring left leg onto either your ankle, your calf, or coming all the way up onto that inner thigh, pushing into your thigh with your foot and resisting with your leg, finding your balance, squaring your hips. Hips, shoulders are all in one line. And then finding your preferred hand position here. If you're a climber, you might have some tension in your shoulders, so you may not want to bring your hands up overhead. I often like to just keep my hands at center. Inhaling, gentle gaze towards the floor, chin is gently tucked. And if you find you're swaying a little bit, that's okay. Concentrate on rooting down through the ball of your foot all the way around to your heel. Inhale, exhale. 1 more. Exhale. And then release gently, keeping strong through your leg all the way down to the ground. You can shake it out a little bit here before we move on to our next balance pose. We're gonna move into eagle. Now this pose really helps with all of your joints, your ankle joints, your knee joints, your wrist joints, your elbows. Our joints are super important in climbing. Keeping them lubricated and having lots of circulation through there is gonna help your overall experience when you're out on the wall. Okay, we're gonna inhale, bring arms up over the head. Exhale, swoop right arm under left, crossing once. And then if you can, cross twice, bring your hands together. If this is too much for you, you can simply grab onto opposite elbows. Interlacing our hands, we're gonna bend down deep, sitting into the chair, and then keeping our hips low, inhale our right leg over our left, crossing once, and then if you can, crossing foot behind twice. We're gonna sit down into the chair, then lift our elbows up to stretch through our shoulders, keep head high, breathe here. You wanna try to bring everything into the midline. So if you're kind of going over to one side, bring elbows into the midline, bring knees into midline, sit deep, feel the circulation through your ankles, through your knees, through elbows and wrists. 1 more breath, inhale, exhale, and then unwind, coming all the way back up, and then shifting directly over to the other side, swooping left arm under right, crossing at elbows, coming around, crossing at wrists, sitting down into the chair, keeping your hips low, lift left leg over right, cross once, and if you can, cross around twice, tucking those toes behind your calf, lifting elbows up, keeping shoulders down away from your ears. Breathe deeply here. And if you want a deeper stretch between your shoulder blades, you can bring your hands slightly away from your face. Keep breathing. 1 more time, you've got it. And then to come out, we're gonna inhale all the way back up. Come back to center, hands to heart. Take a deep centering breath here. Inhale, exhale. Then we're gonna step toward the top of our mat so we can come down towards the floor. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back to the mat into high plank. We're going to take one breath here in our plank pose. Inhale. And then exhale, lift up and back into downward facing dog. You can walk your feet out here, move around a little bit, settle into the pose, and then we're going to step right foot all the way forward into a deep lunge. Back knee is tucked, toes are against the mat. Breathe here, lengthen through the spine. If you're having trouble lengthening through the spine, you can grab some blocks or any prop that you have and lift up a little bit higher. And then slowly, gradually, you can lower until you reach all the way down to the mat. We're going to pulse here a little bit. So on the inhale, we're going to come forward. On the exhale, we're going to stretch back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, stretch back. One more time, inhale forward. And then exhale, plant your hands. You're going to lift up and back into downward facing dog. We're going to take one deep breath in here. Exhale. And then repeat on the other side, bringing left foot all the way forward. You can grab your blocks again, come up onto them. Find some height, lengthen. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. If you feel ready, you can bring hands down to the mat. And we're going to pulse, inhaling forward, exhaling through our Ujjayi breath back. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. One more time to inhale forward. And plant your hands, tuck your back toes under, step back and up into downward facing dog. From here, we're going to drop down onto our knees. We're going to concentrate here on stretching our feet a little bit. So any climber knows, climbing shoes can suck sometimes. They're very tight. They're very little. So let's give our feet some love. So here in Hero's Pose, we are going to tuck our toes under. We are going to strengthen our foot here. We are going to stretch our toes out. This can be quite intense for some people. If you're feeling too much here, come down onto your feet. Or you can even try just doing one foot at a time. Or you can come onto both and just come forward a little bit and gradually kind of rock back and forth until you feel the ability to come all the way back, resting your weight on your toes. We're going to stand up tall, broaden through the chest, and just sit here for a few breaths, giving our feet some time to open up. We're going to do 2 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Broaden through the shoulders on that final breath. Inhale. Exhale. And then to release, we're going to come forward. And to just give our toes a little bit more love, you can pat them against the mat. They might feel a little bit tight, a little bit sore after that pose. So just give them a little bit more love. And then step your knees back, tuck those toes under, root your hands into the mat, fingers spread, up and back into downward facing dog. Coming into another deep stretch for our hips, we're going to bring right leg forward. Our knee is going to come directly behind our wrist. Foot stays flexed. We're going to scoot our back leg in a little bit so it's in the center line of our body. Come up onto our hands and then release down into pigeon pose. You can stay up on your forearms, you can stay on a block, or you can come all the way down to the mat. Today I'm going to stay up on the block so I can talk to you about some of the benefits of this pose. Now, this is going to be really wonderful for climbers, again, opening up through your hips, increasing the flexibility there, and also increasing your range of motion. So when we're reaching for holds that are to the side, or they might be high up, you really want to open up those hips. Make sure that you don't find that you're locking up when you're reaching for those holds. We're going to stay here for 2 more breaths. 1 more. And then coming back onto our hands, removing our props, coming to have our fingers spread nice and wide, Tuck those back toes under, lift up and back. Downward facing dog. Pedal it out here. You may want to rotate your legs a little bit. So left leg comes forward, knee behind our wrist, foot stays flexed. Scoot that back leg in slightly. We're going to inhale, come up. And then exhale, fold forward, staying on your block if you need some extra support here. And if you feel any knee pain in this pose, you want to come out of it. You can do figure 4 instead. I've got a great link in the description box to a full description of that pose. On each inhale, try to identify a spot where you're feeling some tension, and then on the exhale, let it go. Throughout the duration of one pose, you might have to try to let that tension go in the exact same spot multiple times. It's common for us to hold a lot of tension in our hips. We prop ourselves up a lot. So you want to just let yourself go, relax into it. One more inhale. Exhale. Come back onto our hands, scoot that prop out. And we're just going to bring our back leg all the way around and come to the front of our mat. From here, we're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to take a big inhale up. Exhale your shoulders down. One more inhale up. Exhale those shoulders down. From here, we're going to start to move into a twist. So left heel comes towards our right sit bone. Right ankle comes to our left knee. We're going to scoot all that extra stuff out from under our bum. We're going to sit up nice and tall. I'm going to inhale your left arm up. And you're just going to hook it on your right knee. Right hand comes to the base of your spine. We're going to lift up tall. And then exhale to twist. Inhale to lift. Exhale to twist. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale, twisting, looking over your shoulder. And then coming all the way back to center. We're going to bring our legs out in front of us. You're just going to shake them out a little bit. And then we're going to repeat on the other side. So this time we're going to bring right ankle to our left sit bone. We're going to cross our left heel over our right knee. You're going to make sure you're sitting directly on those sit bones. We're going to lift right arm overhead, bring elbow to knee, sit up tall. Use it almost like a lever so you're really getting some leverage here. Lever for leverage. Inhale up. And then we're going to start to twist. Really supporting yourself at the base of your spine. So if you're collapsing, use that hand to lift up. Inhale. Exhale to twist. Inhale to lift. Exhale to twist. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Coming back to center. You're going to just put your feet out in front of you, windshield wiper your feet, or your knees rather, back and forth. Releasing any tension that is remaining. Then we're going to come back to the side of our mat. We're just going to do one more pose here today. We're going to come onto hands and knees. We're going to bring our knees nice and wide, toes together. And we're going to come down into a gentle child's pose, letting our body completely relax here. And this is how we're going to end our practice. So stay here for as long as you'd like. Allowing yourself to open up through the hips, through the shoulders, a gentle stretch. And when you're ready to come out, you're just going to walk yourself all the way back up. Bring your knees in. Bring shoulders down away from the ears. And hopefully you are ready to head off to an amazing climbing session. I hope you're able to incorporate some of these poses into your regular yoga practice. And if you do, let me know if your climbing improves. I would absolutely love to hear about it. Now, if climbing isn't your sport of choice, let me know what you do love in the comment section below. And hopefully I can do a special episode focusing on that sport this month. Now, be sure to subscribe because I will be back next week with a brand new video. And I can't wait to share the mat again with you very soon.